Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Kumusta po? Okay po. First, I'd like to introduce myself po. My name is Professor Jason D. Cabatuando, and I'm going to be your resource speaker for this free webinar series brought to you by and sponsored by the Inteligente Publishing Incorporated, Educating Minds, Shaping the Future. Maraming salamat po sa pagtutok at mabuhay po ang lahat ng ating mga guro at mga trainers from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Bago po ako magsimula, I would like to thank, of course, Inteligente Publishing Incorporated, ang kanilang boss at ang kanilang mga personnel, especially to Sir Jake and Sir Bench Tenorio for inviting me over at sila yung aking technical crew. First, I'd like to mention, of course, NITB, the Nueva Ecija Association of Technical Vocational Institution, my fellow trainers and assessors from TESDA Nueva Ecija, my provincial director, PD Abba de la Torre, and of course, thank you very much to a very good friend, Sir Narci Ador Junicio from ACES or Apo Jose Catholic Education System. He's the PPAA po of OSCO right now. And of course, a very good friend, Certified Google Educator, Paul John Gabay po. Good morning po sa inyong lahat and mabuhay. To start with our topic for today is all about technical vocational education and training in the new normal. Kumusta po tayong lahat? Alam ko po sa nasa panahong ito, tayo po ay nakaka-experience ng hindi magagandang pangyayari sa ating buhay. We are all very vulnerable, volatile, uncertain, and complex and ambiguous at this time. So ang buong global economy po ay nag-shutdown and each country is grappling on how to combat the COVID-19 with no imminent vaccine at hand. Wala pa po vaccine. Kaya po please stay at home po at sumunod po tayo sa mga government regulations. Okay po. So sa private sector po, there are challenges po in education in the delivery of technical vocational education and training due to pandemic or COVID-19. The first challenge po is most governments po actually have temporarily closed down educational institutions in an attempt to contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Here in the Philippines, mapapansin niyo po, as early as March 16, nag-stop na po ang school year. So a lot of colleges and universities, including TVET institutions, have to transform into online learning po. These nationwide closures po are impacting over 60% of the world's student population. Several other countries have implemented localized closures impacting millions of additional learners. Okay po. So other challenges po na kinakaharap po ng ating education at for today is the limited skills or training or limited skills training due to physical social distancing protocols due to community quarantine. Bawal po ang face-to-face classes sa panahon po ito. And until such time po, wala pa rin pong order whether kung kailan magre-resume ang mga face-to-face classes. Another challenge po na kinaharap din would be the inadequate preparations of schools, technical vocational institutions, owners and administrators, teachers and trainers and learners po. Medyo nabigla po tayo dito. Although this will be the wave of the future, napapansin po natin nabigla tayo agad, na-shock tayo bigla agad because of COVID-19. Hindi pa gaano kahanda ang ating mga schools. Although some schools, some training institutions, including higher education institutions, are on its way para gawin na itong online learning. Although meron ng mga schools na meron ng online learning in the past, pero hindi tayo pa ganon kasapat o ganon ka-adapt dito sa nangyari sa pandemic. Okay. Moving on, pag sinabi natin TVET, ang kauna-unahang pumapasok sa ating isip would be number one, of course, is TESDA. Okay. So, ang TESDA ang pioneer sa pag-i-implement ng technical vocational education and training in the Philippines. Actually, in the ASEAN, Sila ang kinonsider as the National Certification Board. Okay. Yung ating national certificate ay valid within the 10 member neighboring states because we are part of the ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement. Okay po. So, for the continuity, isa pang naging challenges sa education and delivery of TVET is the limited access to reliable internet connection. Okay. Alam naman po natin talaga na sa ngayon, although we have internet connections, but most of our beneficiaries are having a hard time, or most of our students are having a hard time connecting or accessing a very reliable internet. Another part po would be digitizing contents po. And of course, trainings po, our trainers in how to manage learning management systems or digitizing their contents and transporting their contents to a learning platform. And then other challenges po with the resources of our beneficiaries is like access to laptops, mobile device, tablets or PC. Palagi po natin narinig to sa news, ano? Na pag paano daw mag-online learning yung estudyante. Although may facilities ang school, may facility ang technical vocational institution or higher education institution, paano naman daw yung mga estudyante na talagang, lalo na yung nasa public sector, nasa public education, na wala namang access sa mga devices. As we go on with my presentations, we will be discussing about how TESDA adapts the TVET towards the new normal. Okay. Ang TESDA, bilang isang institution or pioneer in TVET, nag-declares for the agency to adapt to a new normal state in carrying out its mandate of providing skills training and certification to Filipinos in order to get jobs and livelihood. Okay. Ang objective ng Oplan TESDA Abot lahat is to include the development of innovative and flexible regulatory programs that are adapted to the new environment and changing needs of the TVET sector. Actually po, since 2012, meron ng online program ng TESDA. Later on po, that will be very part of my discussion po. Okay po. Moving on. So the priority sectors po right now of TESDA would be the following. So marami po kasing qualifications or trainings ang TESDA. And basically, because of the pandemic, these are the priority sectors po. So number one po is agriculture. The next one is health. Next one is construction. And the next one is information, communications, and technology. Consistent po with the Operation Plan's mission to contribute to the nation's food, health, and job security in order to adapt to this new normal, TESDA will be focusing on these particular sectors po in developing the skills, requirements po, for agriculture, health, ICT, and construction. Food security po kasi has always been a concern when this pandemic has started, and to support the government's trust of ensuring the country's food security, we are prioritizing agriculture. Before the pandemic pa po, ang secretary po namin sa TESDA, si Secretary Sidlat Peña has already mandated that this will be our top priority. Health po became a priority sector because we are actually in the middle of a health emergency. So we need to train po health workers specifically at the local government unit level. Construction po because we need to prioritize that in support po of President Duterte's Build program, which will commence right after the lifting of the community quarantines po. And of course po, the ICT industry is very much, of course, is very important because it has been very critical support. The ICT industry po has been very critical support industry during this pandemic. Mapapansin po natin, like this one po, what we're doing, we're having webinars po. And then, this is siguro na po yung bagong conference or bagong seminars in the new normal po. So, when business schools, churches, and office turn to online and virtual learning na po yung services. And because of work from home arrangements, we have to rely on ICT, on robust and reliable ICT infrastructure. Moving on, because of these challenges, ano po ang response ng TESDA to these challenges? Okay. Of course, TESDA will adopt the flexible learning delivery in technical, vocational, education, and training. Okay po. So sabihin po, actually lahat naman, hindi lang naman siguro ang TESDA. I have attended similar webinars or several webinars conducted by organizations, conducted by the Department of Education, conducted by the higher education institutions. Lahat naman ay mag-a-adapt na ng flexible learning delivery. So pag sinabing flexible learning delivery, let me just give you first, based on UNESCO's definition, what is flexible learning strategies? So yung flexible learning strategies is an umbrella term for a variety of alternative educational programs targeted at reaching learners, especially the most marginalized. So diverging from the piecemeal approach, the needs-based and the rights-driven programs are equivalent to existing formal or vocational education. We, particularly at TESDA, most of our beneficiaries or most of our clientels are actually those who are in the marginalized sectors. Most actually, according to our secretary, mas dapat namin itap itong mga beneficiaries na ito. Ito yung mga best examples ito would be indigenous communities, mga displaced communities, mga out-of-school youths, mga members of indigenous groups. And of course, this time po, returning OFWs na wala ng trabaho na dahil because of the pandemic. So let me discuss right now, according to the National Center for Vocational Education Research in Australia, ano nga ba yung tinatawag na flexible learning? By the way po, to give you an idea, ang Australia po ang may pinaka-robust at very reliable when it comes to vocational education. Ang sabi dito ng NCVER, flexible learning is the provision of a range of learning modes or methods giving learners a greater choice of when, where, and how they learn. So ibig sabihin po yung flexible learning, variety of learning modes or method na magbibigay ng maraming choices sa ating mga learners, estudyante, or trainees kung kailan, saan, at paano sila matututo. Ito. Having said that, so are the following similar to, this flexible learning ba is similar to the following delivery modes of instruction. So sa flexible learning, lumabas o pumasok ang mga modalities na ito. Number 1, online, virtual or e-learning, distance learning, blended learning, individualized instruction, and modular instruction. Is flexible learning ba similar to the following delivery modes of instructions? Actually po, flexible learning will use all of this or more learning delivery modes. Actually po, to adapt to flexible learning. Okay po. Moving on po to my presentation, pag nag-adapt po, sa TESDA po, pag sa TVET institution, before we adopt the flexible learning, meron po mga areas na dapat pinagdadaanan. And accordingly, ang kauna-unahan pong dapat gawin would be, aside from the infrastructures or the preparation of the infrastructures of existing private institutions and of course public training centers, nagsisimula po ito sa competency-based curriculum modification of updating. I'll give you an idea po na kasi sa TESDA po, hindi kami kasi po pwede talagang mag-purely online because of the skills component na meron kami. Because of there's a lot of skills that we need to teach and we need actually to give to our trainees po. So normally, ang competency-based curriculum po kasi natin ngayon ay naka-focus na face-to-face. Kaya po dapat po ito po ay ma-modify. Number one po, yung modules of instructions, the condition, of course, for the training methodologies and assessment methodologies. We have a support system naman po coming from our TESDA central offices to our TESDA regional offices, and of course, our TESDA provincial offices for the support system. And then such time po we will implement it po. So, I think some of the trainers po, or some of the teachers right now, even in DepEd and higher education institutions, specifically po my fellow trainer, are aware of this too. So we have first the training regulation and the competency-based curriculum. Okay po. So ang competency-based curriculum po is derived from the competency standards. So it is a plan for structured series of learning experiences toward achieving of competencies identified by the industry. So details po ang training methodologies, ang laman yan, resources, facilities, and infrastructures and other materials required for both training and assessment strategies. When we talk about competency standards naman po, we're talking about this is an industry design or industry determined specification of competencies required for effective work performance. So written specification po yan of knowledge, skills, and attitudes po required in the workplace. So mapapansin nyo po, ang development po ng competency-based curriculum is from the competency standards. Okay po. So let me discuss to you right now naman po the training regulations. Okay. So training regulation po is a package of competency standards, training standards, assessment and certification arrangements for a promulgated qualification. Okay po. Alam ko po na sa Department of Education, inadapt po ng technical, vocational, and livelihood sector ang training regulation ng TESDA. Kaya nga po, for the last 2 years, may mga estudyante na gumagraduate from or graduating from senior high school program na nagpapa-assess sa mga accredited assessment center ng TESDA for several qualification. Ang most famous qualifications mo na palagi pinapa-assess ng mga senior high school ay yung cookery at of course yung pong baking and pastry. Aside from that po, welding, food and beverage services, agriculture. Depende po sa specialization na ino-offer po ng eskwela o ng senior high school. Kasama na po ng DepEd. So ano po yung training regulation? So it refers to the document promulgated and issued by TESDA. Lahat po kasi ng lahat po ng courses po ng TESDA or qualifications po ay promulgated po. At lahat po ng promulgated document po na yan ay may training regulations. So it refers to the document promulgated and issued by TESDA consisting of competency standards. So national qualification, kasama na po ang training guidelines for specific sectors or occupation. Ang training regulation po ay nagsaserve as basis for the establishment of qualification and certification under the Philippine TVET qualification framework. It also serves po as guide for the development of competency-based curricula and instructional materials, including registration of TVET programs offered by the technical vocational education providers. Okay. So there are 4 sections po of the training regulations. So I hope you are aware of this. Actually po, the training regulations is free and you can download this from the TESDA website po. So the components of the training regulations are the following po. So if you were able to see it, o nakita nyo na po ito before. So the section 1 po defines the qualification. Section 2 is the competency standards. Section 2 is the training standards. And the section 4 po is the assessment and certification arrangement. Yung section 1 po identifies the package or group of competencies that describe a particular function or job role in existing industry po. Makikita niyo po sa training regulation, may mga competency that are categorized into basic, common, and core po. Yung section 4 po is very important because it provides information po for the awarding of a national certificate or certificate of competency. And it identifies for the process of acquiring the qualification and the qualification of a candidate who will apply for an assessment po. Okay po. Moving on, ano ito ba yung natawag pong competency? Okay po. Kasi we keep on mentioning competency-based training, competency-based curriculum, competency-based learning material, but what really is a competency? So ang competency po kasi is the possession and application of knowledge, skills, and attitudes to perform work activities to the standard expected in the workplace. Papansin niyo po kasi ang aming competency standards, specifically our training regulations, at the acknowledgement portion po of the training regulations, it was developed po, of course, in the presence po of industry experts. And of course, these industry experts knows what the industry requires po. So in our training regulations, we have identified different types of competencies. So these are basic, common, and then we have core, and then we have the elective. So the basic type of competency po is required for all qualification levels in all industry sectors. And then the common competency po is specific but not as specialized or highly technical in nature as the core competencies. The core competency po pertains to a stream of technology or specialty job within a particular industry or sector. And then elective po is an additional competencies that are useful but not absolutely necessary for enhancing the mobility or employability of a person. Okay po. I have here with me a sample of a qualification title which is very common. Comment na po kayo. Sino po sa mga nanonood ngayon dito ang trainer ng Cookery NC2? Sino po dito ang mga trainer ng Cookery NC2? Can I have some comments, please? Okay po. Ito po ang core competencies ng Cookery NC2. Okay po. Kung mapapansin niyo po, may 13. Okay po. So medyo matagal pong ituro, Yun po siya. Kasi po, kung mapapansin niyo, although unique ang unit of competency from one each other, pero mapapansin niyo po, there are specific unit of competencies that might be prerequisite po before you move on to another competency. Just like clean and maintain kitchen premises. I have seen po kasi some schools teaching cookery. Bigla po sa unang araw nagluluto na yung mga bata. Okay po. Pero I think po siguro, based on our training regulations, the first unit of competency must be clean and maintain kitchen premises po. In the new normal, lahat po na nagtuturo na may kinalaman sa food or something na kinakain or food production, dapat po i-adapt na po natin ang ating curriculum dyan. So number 1 po, lalo na po sa clean and maintain kitchen premises, because of this COVID-19, we have to adapt this very new normal. Diba? At dapat po tayo mag-focus dito sa clean and maintain kitchen premises, specifically po for practicing occupational health and safety. May nakikita nga po ako, ito po ang dami ko pong college students na nakikita na nagko-commute before sa jeep na nakasuot ng kanilang chef's uniform or chef's garb. Hindi po yung isinusuot. Dapat po yun ay nakatago at ginagamit lamang pagdating po ng laboratory. May mga school po ako nakikita nagko-commute yung estudyante naka-chef's garb. So, ibig sabihin po, yung chef's garbs na yun ay, o yung chef uniform na yun, na-expose na po yun o na-contaminate na po yun while commuting, going to school before the laboratory. So sabi ko, hindi naturuan ng tama ng teacher ito. Bakit suot-suot yung chef guard pa commute? Binabaon po yun. Sinusuot lang po yun during the time of the laboratory. Yun po siya. Kasi po, nag-practice nga po ng hygiene sanitation ng kamay, nag-wash nga po ng hands, naglagay nga po ng helmet, pero yung po isinuot ay galing po sa labas na usukan, most likely po, contaminated na din po yung nagpe-prepare. Okay po. Moving on po. Yeah. And then, sa parts of the unit of competency po, if you are going to take a look po at the training regulations, I suggest po dun sa ating mga kaibigan sa Department of Education, especially po teachers teaching specific qualifications under TVL po. Since inada po ng DepEd ang aming training regulations, ang suggestion ko po ay basahin niyo pong mabuti ang ating pong training regulations. So alam po ito ng lahat ng trainer's methodology. Kasi po, ito po ang kanilang Bible in the development of their competency-based curriculum. So ang parts of the unit of competency po would be the following. So there will be a unit title. So it provides a description of the job function, unit descriptor. It expands on the information provided on the unit titles. We have elements. We have performance criteria, range of variables, and of course, we have the evidence guide po that describes the required knowledge and skills that must be demonstrated to prove competence. It provides essential advice for the assessment. Alam niyo po, ito po part po ng performance criteria, from the elements to performance criteria, range of variable evidence guide po, it is a must po that the teachers or the trainee po knows the critical aspect of competency. Napapansin ko po kasi, I am also an assessor. During assessment, limitado lang yung alam ng estudyante o ng candidate. Kasi, although walang pakailan ng assessor during the assessment, kasi nandun lang siya to observe and to, to check if the candidate possess the competencies. Pero may mga estudyante o candidate na umaamin na limitado yung kanilang natutunan during the training. I would suggest po that the trainers take a look at the evidence guys and what are the critical aspect of competencies na nire-require po during assessment. And then, ano po yung required skills and required knowledge po. Kasi po ang pagtuturo ng isang qualifications po, to tell you honestly, is holistic po. Pasensya na po, pero I experience a lot of trainers na nag-take ng national certificate, pumasa doon, tapos nagturo, of course, ng qualification. Hindi po kasi ganon ang ginagawa sa TESDAT talaga. Actually, you're not even allowed to teach a particular TESDA qualifications without a national TVET trainer certificate. And may process po yun. So kadalasan po dahil may NC lang yung teacher, kung ano lang yung na-experience niya during the assessment, yun lang ang ituturo na kay estudyante. Ito kasi yung ipinagawa sa akin during the assessment. So ito lang yung ituturo niya, din siya magpo-focus. Diba? So hindi holistic yung kanyang approach. Okay. Moving on. So ang ating pong training standards naman sa competency-based curriculum, nakalagay po dito yung curriculum design, training delivery, training entry requirements, required tools and equipment, required training facilities. Ayan na po, trainers qualifications, and of course, institutional assessment. By the way po, before I forget, sa TESDA po, lahat po ng aming courses ay libre. So, mamaya po i-discuss ko po sa inyo because we have a lot of scholarship programs for different beneficiaries po. And we have a lot of accredited private technical vocational institutions and of course, provincial training centers scattered all over the Philippines po para po mag-serbisyo po sa inyo. Okay po. So, pansinin po natin, meron po diyang trainers qualifications. Okay po. So, Sa TESDA po, hindi po pwede na magturo ka lang na may NC ka lang. Later on po, I'll discuss what are the requirements for you to become a TESDA or TVI trainer po. Kanina po nabanggit ko na meron tayong competency-based curriculum. Pag po tayo ay nag-adapt ng flexible learning, automatic po, there are specific documents in the competency-based curriculum that needs to be updated or modified po. Kasi po, ang existing competency-based curriculum natin ngayon ay nakadesign sa face-to-face. Tama po ba? Yun po siya. So, ano po yung mga documents na dapat nating update? Number 1, training delivery. So sa training delivery po ba, mag-a-adapt po ba tayo? Ito po ba ay magiging distance learning? Ito po ba ay online? Ito po ba ay e-learning? O mag-develop po tayo ng self-learning modules? Yun po siya. O mag-print po ba tayo ng materials at ibibigay po natin to sa ating mga estudyante. Kasama din po sa i-update yung methods of assessment. And of course, from the existing resources that you have, of course, the school needs to provide a reliable infrastructure, ICT infrastructures po. And of course, we have to update po the trainers and teachers' qualifications. And then in the module of instructions po, we have to update or modify po the training methodologies and the assessment methods. Okay po. Maraming salamat po. We are now 3,400 po on our FB Live po. And kumusta po sa aking mga kaibigan sa Palawan po. Okay po. So the next slide po focuses naman po on the curriculum guides and training regulations. Sino po dito ang mga teachers ng TVET? Kaway-kaway nga po. Mag-message nga po tayo. Sino po dito ang mga teachers ng TVET? Kanina po sinabi po ni Sir Jason na in-adapt po ng DepEd ang training regulations ng TESDA for majority of the TBL qualifications po. From agri to aquaculture, up to welding, up to tourism sector po, up to metals and engineering po. When I was looking at their curriculum guides, nakita ko naman na yan. Iba lang yung term namin sa training regulations. So, sa curriculum guides, we call it content standard, performance standards, learning competencies, or most essential learning competencies. Sa aming training regulations, meron kami tinatawag na elements, performance criteria, range of variable or evidence guide. Ito po yung binabanggit ko kanina. Okay. Yung elements po are the building blocks of a unit of competency. So they describe in outcome terms the function that a person performs in the workplace. It is a statement that specifies what learner will be able to do as a result of the learning processes. Written learning outcome po yun. Yung evidence guide na po, component yun of the unit of competency that defines or identifies the evidences required to determine the competence po of the student. Nagpo-provide po yun ng information on critical aspects of competency, required knowledge, required skills, and of course po, yung resource implication kasama na po, and assessment and context of assessment. So yung performance criteria naman po, evaluative statements yan that specify what's to be assessed and the required level of performance. Yun po siya. So nakita ko po dun sa curriculum guides, in-adapt nga po niya. Nakita po namin yon. Kaya lang po, kung mapapansin nyo, kung merong pagkukulang doon sa curriculum guides, lalo po ngayon, nagkaroon po ng updating sa most essential learning competencies. At kung ipapa-assess nyo po kasi ang estudyante nyo, I would suggest po, you go to the training regulations po. Kung may mga pagkukulang po, magdagdag po tayo. Huwag po kayong magbabawas. Dagdagan nyo po. Yun po siya. Huwag nyo po siyang isuswanta. Okay po. And then moving on, yan po. Ito po ang pinakamahalaga po ngayon sa panahon na ito. Alam po natin, lahat naman tayo mga guro. Lahat tayo ay nagtuturo. Kaya lang po, a major factor po in adapting flexible learning will be the trainer's qualification or the teacher's qualification. Okay po. Number 1 po, lahat po tayo aware or adaptive na sa face-to-face. Sanay tayo na meron tayong 15, 25 to 45 students in one class. Face-to-face. Okay. So, paano ngayon? Ang sabi ni DepEd, magsisimula ang pasok ng August 24. Okay. Some HEIs will follow suit. Yun siya. Kami sa TBI, we would like to start as early as June or before July. Kaya lang, tayo ay susunod pa rin sa patakaran ng IATF. Yun siya. For now, lahat ng mga nasa Q areas, GCQ, MEGCQ, yun po siya, bawal pa rin ang face-to-face. Yun siya. Actually, bawal doon lumabas ang mga estudyante. Diba? Bawal lumabas ang estudyante 21 years old and below. Eh, karamihan sa ating mga estudyante ay bata. So, ano ang mga qualifications na dapat paglayin ng isang trainer o isang teacher sa panahon ng pag-adapt ng flexible learning? Okay. Let me just first give you ano ang aming requirement sa TESDA, ano ang mga trainer's qualifications sa amin sa TESDA bago ka maging trainer. Number 1, you must be a holder of an NC3 or its equivalent. If you're training an NC2 qualification, must be an inch higher or a notch higher po. You should have a National TVET Trainer Certificate holder. You must have undergone training on Training Methodology 1 kung meron naman level 2. You must be physically and mentally fit, or you must have at least 3 to 5 years job industry experience on supervisory or managerial level. Okay po. Nagbabago-bago po ang requirements based po sa trainer's qualifications or specific qualifications sa training regulation. Okay po. So number 1 po, meron po sabi na dapat daw may 2 years ka na industry exposure or industry na natapos sa industry. No. Sa kukri po, ito pong pinapakita ko po sa inyo na trainer's qualification po, sa kukri ito. 3 to 5 years job po industry experience on supervisory or managerial level. Hindi po naging cook or kitchen crew sa isang karinderya. Yun po siya. Okay po. So may nakalagay po dito National TVET Trainer Certificate. May proseso po kung paano nakukuha yan. You have to pass or mag-training muna po ng training methodology level 1. And after that po, pag naipasa niyo po yun, tsaka pa lang po kayo magkakaroon ng National TVET Trainer Certificate. Of course, pending all required documentations po. May process po kasi yun. So this is what a Trainer's Methodology Certificate looks like. Yun po siya. So yung Trainer's Methodology Certificate po, pag pumasa po dyan ang isang teacher o isang trainer, automatically, nakita po dyan na you were able, meron kayo na-achieve ng mga competencies on planned training sessions, mag-facilitate ng learning session face-to-face po yan, mag-utilize ng electronic media, yun po siya, mag-maintain ng training facilities and others po. The other side naman po is a normal national certificate po. Yun po siya. By the way po, no, wag po kayong bibili ng mga national certificate. Kung sige po magkaroon ng national certificate, you must be certified po. You have to get that po through a legitimate assessment center. Mag-a-apply po kayo sa assessment sa isang legitimate assessment center po. Hindi po yan basta po nakukuha lang kung saan-saan. Yun po siya. Last year po, nagkalat po ang mga fake na national certificate po. But you can validate po if your national certificate is valid by logging on to tesla.gov.ph po. So meron po tayo yung Registry of Certified Workers. Okay po. Pag po kayo nakapasa ng Trainer's Methodology Level 1 with your NC po, combining that with other documentations po. Of course po, pag nag-apply po kayo sa TESDA, Trainer's Methodology Certificate Level 1, pressure NC, plus other required documents po, like Certificate of Employment, yun po siya, Certificate of Training from relevant industries, yun po. You will get a National TVET Trainer Certificate Level 1. Okay po. Ito pa lang po ang passport nyo na pwede kayong magturo ng isang TVET qualification. Hindi po kayo pwedeng magturo ng NC lang ang meron kayo. Yun po siya. So, kung sa Department of Education, required na dapat meron tayong professional license for teachers. For us in TVET, we're very particular with our trainers po. You should have an NTTC. Okay po. So this is the normal requirements now. But there are now additional requirements right now if you are going to adapt to flexible learning. Okay po. So number 1, so may NTTC ka na, nagtuturo ka na dati. Kaya lang online na ngayon. Ang sabi ni TBI, sabi ni DepEd, mag-a-adapt tayo ngayon to flexible learning kasi walang face-to-face. Okay. So ito yung nadagdag. Number 1, the ability to facilitate online or e-learning sessions. Sorry po dun sa hype, napunta po dun sa letter L, yun po siya. So, dapat po tech-savvy na o technology-driven na ang mga teachers ngayon. So, namin po, as early as May and June, our TESA Central Office po with NITSD, of course po, nagkaroon na po, of course, ng training ng mga regional lead trainers or RLTs. And right now po ongoing ang facilitation ng multiplier ng PLTs or provincial lead trainers po on how to facilitate, of course, e-learning sessions. And then, I'd like to credit po, of course, TVSA na as early as May po, nag-conduct na sila, of course, ng webinar series on how to go about adapting the flexible learning in TVET. Yun po siya. Dahil po kayo magpapacilitate ng online at e-learning session, the teacher must be very creative. Tama po ba? Do you agree with me? Another one po is technical competence. And of course po, you must have the ability to create digital content. This time po kasi you need to digitize your content. Hindi po yun basta lang ililipat nyo yung dati yung lessons into PowerPoint and then i-upload nyo as a digital content. There are more to that. Di po ba, I think you have to share the same sentiments with me. Tayo nga po, pag tayo ay nagtuturo, di po ba sa grupo ng 40 o grupo ng 25, meron po dyan, hindi nga nakikinig eh. How much more yung, are we going to assure that our students are listening during our webinar facilitation? Yun po siya. Or nagiging gano'n ka, tawag dito, ka-interactive po yung digital content nyo kung i-access man po nila ito online. So these are additional po. For PVIs po in TESDA, they have to secure a certificate of recognition po coming from the provincial office where they're located po, where they are covered. Diba? If they wants to adapt flexible learning po. Later on po, we'll give you an overview on that. So, let me go now po to the guidelines in implementing flexible learning in TVET po. So, I'd like to thank po DDG Ordaneta po and of course Sir Dave Bugayon po for this particular guidelines in implementing flexible learning in TVET po. So, I have adapted po their slides for this. DDG Ordaneta, thank you very much po, Sir Dave po. So, this is pertaining to TESA Circular 62 series of 2020. Okay po. So, ang aming po mga flexible learning delivery arrangement according to that particular circular are the following. We still have face-to-face, but not right now. Online learning, blended learning, and distance learning. Uulitin ko po, sa TVET po, we cannot be fully online. Talaga pong hindi mawawala yung face-to-face natin. Kalang at the moment, di po ba, hanggat wala tayo dun sa tinatawag natin, hindi tayo nakakalagpas sa new normal. So, we have to adapt the other modes of learning, other modes of learning delivery. Okay po. So, sa TVET po, ito yung tinatawag namin flexible TVET learning delivery. Okay po. So, we have distance learning, then we have face-to-face, we have online learning. Palagi po nabanggit, ano ba yung blended learning? When I was listening to the talk of DDG Ortaneta and Sir Dave, ang blended learning is a combination of face-to-face and or online learning. Yun lang po yun. Yun po siya. So yung blended learning is a combination of face-to-face and of course, online learning. Okay po. So what are the parameters for in implementing flexible learning? Okay po. For the private TBIs in TESDA, these are the parameters po. Example, you are adopting online learning delivery mode. So again, babalik po tayo. The competency-based curriculum must be updated. It should reflect online learning as modality. Okay po. So you have digital learning contents and of course, requirement ang learning management systems. Okay po. So dyan po mapasok. So ngayon, ang dami ngayong learning management systems. And I think some of you or most of you have been using this in the past. Ang famous would be Moodle, G Suite for Education, Schoology, Edmodo, marami pa. And of course, we have web application that provides access to digital content. Okay po. Pag online learning delivery mode po kayo, those are the requirements po. Okay. So, learning management system. So, kaya nga po, dapat ang ating po mga trainers, kayo na po sa aking previous slide, you should have the ability to facilitate e-learning or online learning sessions at may technical competence po kayo because you will be the one to manage your classroom in a learning management system. If you were to adapt naman po, ayan po, sa online delivery mode, and then po, nasa gitna po palagi yung curriculum automatically. So, the competency-based curriculum po must reflect the modality of online delivery po. So, digitizing your content, then using web applications, at paano po ito ma-access ng inyong mga learners. Okay po. So, teachers access. So, sample ko mo dyan ay Moodle. May mga web-based applications po tayo like Google Classroom. Yun po siya. Tapos, paano po tayo magtuturo in an online world? So, we're using Zoom, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams. Marami po yan. Okay po. Another part po is the blended learning delivery mode in which I think majority of the TBIs is going to adapt po. So, face-to-face, and then online learning or e-learning. Yun po siya. So ito po yung kanyang diagram. So aside from the digitizing the learning content in a web-based or a learning management system, meron din po siyang face-to-face component in a competency-based training workshop sa ating po mga laboratory. Example po, cookery. Siyempre po, we can provide all the technical terms, we can provide videos, we can provide theories, learning materials, pero iba pa rin po na magpa-practice ang ating mga estudyante in our kitchen laboratories. So for now po, wala pa pong face-to-face, pero eventually po magkakaroon yan. Yun po siya. And of course po, distance learning. Sa distance learning naman po, learning resources that can be accessed by learners in any combination or the following. Yan, pre-learning materials, or we call it CBLM, training manual, instruction sheets, and audiovisual. I think the Department of Education is actually coming up with what we call self-learning kits or self-learning modules. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng estudyante may computer o may tablet, di ba? Yun siya. So I think magpo-produce tayo ngayon ng mga modules na kung saan i-distribute natin sa mga bata with no access. Pero but still, how do we ensure that our students still communicates or still follows po the instructions given on those particular modules? Ayun na po. So dapat po may means of communications pa rin tayo. So para ma-access natin yung kanyang learning outcome at para makapag-provide tayo ng support. Okay po. So ngayon po, I think the government is thinking about utilizing, of course, public TV channels right now for TVET, like PTV4. Before kasi, di ba, we have these knowledge channels, yun siya. Mga natututo tayo, yun siya. Sa distance learning po, dapat po may means of communications pa rin po kayo sa estudyante. Po paano niyo siya mapoprovide ng support at maano niyo ma-access ang kanyang learning outcomes. Okay po? So these are the general guidelines po for the technical vocational institutions for under TESDA. Okay po. Hindi po sabihin na dati na kayo may permit, pwede na kayong magturo or mag-start ng klase. So normally po, if you want to shift the delivery or add or shift, you need to send a letter of intent po to TESDA, to the provincial office po, to the regional office, na mag-shift po kayo ng delivery mode. You should have a copy of the existing competent certificate of program registration po, TVET program registration po, na isi-shift nyo. And then of course po, ulitin natin, dapat po updated ang yung competency-based curriculum at ang training plan at of course po ang profile ng trainers. Ngayon po sa TVI, ang primary requirement po is you have a certificate of completion in developing e-learning materials and facilitate e-learning sessions. And ongoing po ang multiplier po niyan ngayon dito sa all over the Philippines po. So from NTTA po, from the central office, bila pa po yan sa mga, nag-identify po yan ng mga regional lead trainers, and then the regional lead trainers will facilitate po the multiplier programs po. Okay. Are you still with me po? Are you still there? Nandiyan pa po kayo? Sana po ay marami kayong mga takeaway ngayong araw na po na ito. Okay po. So, ang TESDA po ay isang game player when it comes to online program. And I want to boast about one particular project na meron kami sa aming agency. And we call it the TESDA online program. Okay po. Kaway-kaway nga po. Sino na po dito ang aware sa aming TESDA online program? Hi po from the SDO of Laguna in San Pablo. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Yun po siya. Kumusta din po sa mga NESTA members from Nueva Ecija. Okay po. How many of you po has naka-access na po sa TESDA online program? Okay po. Yun po siya. Libreng pag-aaral po ito. So if you're not doing anything po, even though you're a teacher, I would suggest po you access the TESDA online program. Marami po kayo ditong matututunan o makukuha ng mga materials or resources na pwede nyo pong i-adapt sa inyong pagtuturo. Lalong-lalo na po yung nasa cookery, computer system servicing, baking and pastry, lalong-lalo na po sa food processing, kompleto po ang modules ng TESDA online program. Ano po ba yung TESDA online program ng TESDA? Okay po. Open educational resource po ito that aims to make technical education more accessible to Filipino citizens through the use of information and communication technologies. Ang TESDA online program po provides an effective and efficient way to deliver technical education and skills development services to broader audience and wide range of user learners at a lesser cost. Actually, wala siyang bayad. Wala siyang bayad. Yun siya. All you need to do is just access the website and then, of course, then create an account po. Po siya. So, if you're using naman po a mobile phone, you can download the TESDA app po in Google Play, if you're using an Android, and of course, in the App Store po. Okay po siya. In the App Store po. So, ganito po ang itsura ng interface niya. So, makikita niyo po dyan, marami po. learning videos, training centers, assessment center, and of course, if you have relatives po, we have a returning OFW, yun po siya, they can click that and they can register para po makapag-training po for particular skills. Good morning po, Ma'am Nodelia Camba from Zambales. Yun po siya. Okay po. And then po, pag nakapasok po kayo, ganito po ang kanyang itsura. So returning OFWs can sign up for pre-skills training. Meron din po kami mga COVID-19 initiatives, safety tips, DOH updates, and of course po on the other side, click Test the Online program. When you click the Test the Online program, ito po yun. If you have an account, you have to log into your account po and check your password po. And then you will be brought to a lot of courses. Okay po. So meron po tayong mga 24th century skills, agriculture, automotive, electrical and electronics, entrepreneurship, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, human health, information technology, tourism. Actually po yung food and beverage services, front office services, at saka po yung, lalong-lalo na po yung food processing. I suggest po sa lahat po ng mga TBL teachers na nag-offer ng food processing, mag-enroll po kayo sa Test the Online. Makikita nyo po, very rich po ang materials with regards to resources, including po videos po when it comes to food processing. Yun po siya. Yan po siya. And of course po, upon completing po the program, you will receive a certificate of completion. Yun po siya. Yun po ang kagandahan. Yun po siya. And the certificate of completion po is valid. And you can even verify it through TESDA. Yun po siya. Tinatanggap po yan. In TPIs po, if a particular student po kasi ay nakapag-aral or nag-take ng online course sa TESDA online program, kinikredit po ito ng mga TVI, ng private TVIs under TESDA. Pag po nakapag-complete kayo, ito po yung certificate of completions that you can add, of course, to your resume po or to your curriculum vitae po. Sino na po dito ang nakapag-try ng TESDA online program? Comment nga po kayo. Sino po dito ang nakalima na? Yung may 5. Sige nga po, comment po tayo. Mamaya po, ibibigay ko po sa inyo yung link. Kung saan po. Actually po, it's www.etesda.gov.ph po. May rain na rin po pala. Yan. Yan, sabi ni Ma'am Juliet Abobo, after this webinar, I will enroll in the TESDA online program. Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning po from Wesleyan University Philippines Graduate School, si Ma'am Mean Enriquez. Hello po. Yan po. So, habang wala po tayong ginagawa, at meron naman po tayong access to internet, mag-enroll po tayo sa TESDA online program. Okay po, yun po siya. Ini-encourage ko din po ang mga taga-intelligente to enroll in the TESDA online program po. Yun po siya. Ganun siya. Okay po. So si Miss Dejan Sainz, may siyam na siya. Very good po, ano? I tried agriculture program about kasabing food growing. Yan, si Ma'am Eileen Eligado. Ayan, marami na po, marami sa. Please, i-share niyo po ito. Napakaganda po itong proyekto po. Since 2012 pa po ito, pero dahil because of the COVID-19, mas naging active po ang lahat sa pag-access ng ating TESDA online program. So makaka-receive po kayo ng Certificate of Completion. Moving on, so from March 16 to June 6, okay po, ito na po ang total number of registrants, okay po, in the TESDA online program. So there are a total of 616,748. Tapos ayan, kasama na po kayo, lahat po nanonood sa atin dito, kasama na po kayo sa 293,000 na learners who have completed their TESDA online courses. At since 2012, there have been 1,946,622 na accumulated na registrants na sa TESDA. Actually, hindi lang po from the Philippines yan. So ang composition po niyan, there are people or other nationalities who are accessing po the site or the app po. Actually, very user-friendly siya, specifically if you're using a phone. Okay po. So moving on, in this time of pandemic po, allow me to present to you po, of course, what TESDA is doing during the pandemic po. Okay po. And then we call it po, O-Plan, TESDA Abot Lahat, or TVET towards the new normal. So for this particular slide po, I would like to thank po Ma'am Rosa and of course po my regional director, Mrs. Pajardo, for providing me this slide to be part of the presentation po. So indeed po, this has been a very extraordinary times po because this pandemic may have caught us all off guard. But it has not dampened the indomitable spirit of the Filipinos. So, ano po ang ginagawa ng TESDA towards the new normal? By the way po, yung pictures po na nakikita nyo na yan ay mga TESDA Region 3 volunteers po in the slides. Okay po. Palakpakan po natin sila. Okay po, ang mission po ng ang O-Plan TESDA Abot Lahat po or TVET towards the new normal, ito po yung operational plan ng TESDA in response to the COVID-19 crisis. So the mission po is to contribute to the nation's food, health, and job security and adapt to a new normal state in carrying out the mandate to providing skills, training, and certification to Filipinos in order to get jobs or to earn livelihoods. Ang TESDA trainings po kasi, it's not just for jobs, but basically po, for you to earn livelihoods. The objective po is to come up with, of course, relevant policies and programs to help society adjust to the new normal. So aligned to this particular mandate, ini-ensure po ng agency that more relevant and responsive technical vocational education and training plans and policies under the new normal po. And then magdi-develop po ng innovative and flexible regulatory programs that are adapted to the new environment and changing needs of the TVET sector. Okay po. And of course, to strengthen, of course, the national institutional capacity of TESDA as an agency to be responsible and adaptable to all forms of crisis. So ano po ulit ang mga priority sectors ngayon ng TESDA? Okay po. For ensuring food security, agriculture, andyan po siya. Health, of course, because of the time of the pandemic, construction because of the Build program, and of course, ICT po. Ito siya. So, may pacing po ang O-Plan TESDA Abot Lahat. So, from March 1 to June 2020, we are in the survival phase. Phase 2 is the transitional, and then the phase C is structural phase. Okay po. So, sa phase 1 po, this involves immediate response of TESDA during the crisis, focusing on reducing possible transmissions of the diseases, ensuring safety and, of course, security po. Actually po, to reduce possible transmission, just like HEI, just like DepEd, walang pasok. All TVET classes across the country were suspended. So work from home po, ang mga technology institutions, ayan po, face masks, PPS, and food packs produced and donated to frontliners po. Yun po siya. And I'm very proud po that ang TESDA Region 3, ito po yung ginawa nila. I cannot speak of other regions po because I'm from Region 3 po. No? A friend of mine from JBF, si Jing Belmonte Fernando po, has donated a lot of face masks up to now po. No? Because yung po mga TVET institution namin na under dressmaking, talaga pong naggawa sila ng face mask, iba po PPE. Yung iba naman po, through the group of Ma'am Nenet and through the efforts of Meet B, meron kami mga TBIs na nag-bake ng mga tinapay at mga breads, iba't ibang mga breads para sa aming mga frontliners po and other food packs po. So as of June 5, 2020, these are the TESDA bayanihan to beat COVID-19. Okay po. Palakpakan po natin ang TESDA Region 3 for that. And then on the transitional phase po, yan, we have to introduce the flexible learning arrangement. So new courses added to the TESDA online program as alternative dyan. In the future po mapapansin nyo, meron po course dyan on how to practice preventive measures COVID-19 in the workplace po. And I think in the future, this will be made available to everybody po. Yun po siya. Tapos meron po dyan mga courses about refrigeration, solar panels, yun po siya. So, part po ng transitional phase din is build up technology-based system tools and processes for continued delivery of TESDA services amidst the crisis po. Yun po siya. And of course, to effect smooth transition to the new normal, nag-realign na po ng plans ang agency. And to ensure food security, it prioritizes agri-fishery, business in the development of updating of training standards, and course registration po. Part po, the phase 3 involves the regular implementation of all programs under the new normal condition. So, andito na po yung plans and programs including the National Sectoral Plan, TESDA corporate plans. They will be reassessed and adjusted considering the socio-economic impact of the COVID-19 and the government's overall plan. So, magre-recommends po automatically ang lahat ng implementation of projects, of programs, build, and of course, nandiyan pa rin po ang TESDA scholarship. And of course, it will strengthen all TESDA online program with new online programs, private course offerings, and feedback mechanism. Yun po siya. And of course po, it will enhance TESDA's information system, implement a crisis management plan in preparation for future crises. So that's part 3 po, actually po, of the that involves regular implementations of all programs under the new normal condition. Are you still with me po? Yun po siya. After this talk po, we will have a Q&A portion po para please po masagot po natin ang ilan sa inyong mga katanungan. Yun po siya. Do you have any questions so far po? So I'd like to welcome po our friends po from DepEd San Jose. Of course po, Irene Pabalan, hello po. Thank you very much for watching po and for staying with me po till this time po. Okay po. At sa mga members po ng Intelligente, yan, welcome po. From Google Education Group of Quezon City, thank you very much po. Sel Kabiliran, okay po. Still watching po, si J. Andoliente Castillo, thank you very much po. And from Santa Ana, Pampanga, maraming salamat po. Okay po. So I think I am at the end part of my presentation for today. And of course, I'd like to make some acknowledgements po. First, I'd like to thank po Sir Narcia Dorjunicio, and po the BPAA from OSCO, TESDA Central Office, TESDA Region 3, retired Major General Jesus Pajardo, our Regional Director, TESDA Nueva Ecija, PD Aba Heidi de la Torre, TVSA, Ma'am March Medinilla, thank you very much po. Nueva Ecija Association of Technical Vocational Institution President Teresita L. Manson, lahat po ng member TBIs. Ms. Taa, thank you very much. Assessors of Nueva Ecija, thank you very much for the support. My friend Sir Paul Jangabay, ay Google Certified Educator Level 1 po. Maraming pong salamat po sa inyong lahat for that. And now po, we're now moving on to the Q&A portion. Yun po siya. May tanong po ba tayo? Yun po siya. Yan. So you can post po your questions po in the chat box po at para po ma-acknowledge po natin. So from DepEd Munoz po, hello po. Ma'am Grace Ubas, thank you very much. Yun po siya. Ma'am Teresita Manson, thank you very much po. Do you have other questions po ba? Okay po. So by the way po, saan daw po ba makikita yung, ano daw po ba yung site? It's www.etesda.gov.ph. Now, if you are new to the site, what you're going to do is basically create an account. And then, magsasend sila ng email for you to confirm and validate that particular account. And then you can actually log in na. And then choose your course na. Most of the courses are self-enrollment. Wala siyang kailangan ng enrollment key. Self-enrollment siya. Okay po. What are the questions pa po? Of course, yung TESDA, yung Certificate of Completion po coming from the TESDA online program, marami po nagchat-chat sa akin privately sa kanilang mga tanong, ba't ayaw nyo isalagay dun sa chat box. Yung pong certificate of completion is an added qualification, is another ano po sa inyo, knowledge po sa inyo and qualification po. Pwede na bang dumiretso sa assessment yung natapos ng TESDA online po? Opo, basta po kaya nyo po. Pero I would suggest pa rin po to consult a private TBI for that or a provincial training center po. Yung po siya. Kung kaya nyo na po yung po siya. I would like to welcome po on our group po Ma'am Gloria Gabao-Conanan from TESDA Provincial Office in Nueva Ecija. Hello po, good morning po ma'am. Siya po ang aming utpas po kay. From DepEd Rizal and DepEd Nueva Ecija, hello po. Sir, good morning po. Can I still renew my expired NC certificate? Yes po. Provided po na kung ang qualifications ay hindi pa nagmamigrate. Kasi po, example po, kung ang NC nyo po ay old na yan at nag-migrate na po yung qualification, you need to retake po the qualification. Okay po. Yun po siya. Magkakaroon po kayo ng assessment ngayon since hindi pa rin allowed ang face-to-face. Right now po, ang ina-allow lang po ay portfolio assessment. Kaya lang po, this portfolio assessment, meron po medyo marami pong requirements. Dapat po at least meron kayong 5 years industry experience po. And you have to provide po videos of the works that you're doing po in the industry. Isasubmit po ito sa provincial office and then babayad po kayo ng 1,500 and then TETA Central po ang mag-evaluate po noon. For now po, on hold po muna ang lahat ng face-to-face and then inaayos na po ng ating TETA Central Office ang mga guidelines for that po. So ngayon po, wala pa po tayong face-to-face yung sa normal sa mga assessment center. But we have this po, portfolio assessment po. Yun po siya. That you can inquire with your provincial offices po. Yun po siya. Any more question po? Ano daw ba yung TESDA Idol? Hindi po ako kumanta doon. Actually po yung TESDA Idol is a search for actually hindi naman trainers, sa mga tao na nag-undergo ng TESDA training at nagamit nila yung kanilang pag-aaral sa TESDA to uplift their lives po. Ito po kasi ako nag-aaral ako ng TESDA matagal na and then naging tour guide ako because I took up tour guiding services qualification yun ng TESDA. Yun siya. And then I was able to use that. Yun siya. Sir, na-take ko po yun. Yun po siya. And then, nagamit ko yung knowledge na yun para maka-apply for a job. Sir, can we use trainers methodology po online? Yes, by all means po. Kakakuha po kayo ng knowledge siya. But I suggest po, you consult you go din po, of course, to a private TVI who's offering trainers methodology. Kasi po, hindi kayo pwedeng dumiretso ng assessment with just the completion from the trainers methodology online. Kasi po merong tayong dapat isubmit dyan. Like our project portfolio po. Yun po siya. Yun po siya. From DepEd San Jose po, hi Sir J.R. Carlos Sompliano. Si Mick Zell po yung nagtanong. Good morning po. Can we take trainers methodology? Yes, you can take trainers methodology online po. Update po sa assessment fee po. You have to go po to consult po to your provincial director po or to the assessment po. May link po ba ang webinar na ba ito? Yes po, I will be providing po the copy of the presentation to Inteligente and I think po you can review. I-record po nila ito. Sir, if I already have ICT qualification certification, then I also have the NC2 assessment through online. Wala po tayong online assessment. Ang tawag po natin dyan portfolio assessment that you need to coordinate with your provincial office po. Din po siya. Hello po, sir. May recommend po ba kayo on the way how to conduct laboratory with students who without face-to-face sessions, especially in the field of cookery? Yan na nga po. Sa field of cookery po, automatically po, you have to come up with your instructional videos. Yun po siya. Dapat po may mga instructional videos po kayo dyan. Hindi po sapat na pictures lang or PowerPoint presentations lang. The trainer, para po kayong gumagawa ng isang cooking show, isa lang po yan. Yun po siya. Sir, si Jing Rayo, Arario Pastrana po. Yun po siya. Si Rems Tampokan, thank you very much for sharing precise knowledge and progressive learning. God bless po. Si Ma'am Niceline Balsa, thank you very much po. Yan po siya. Is there any questions pa po? Si Ma'am Maria Army Anda po, I had already a certification from our region, wasn't able to take the actual assessment exam po. Ma'am, siguro po, wait lang po natin, but eventually po, as soon as everything normalized, there will be a face-to-face assessment po. Yun po siya. Inaayos lang po ang guidelines for that po. Yun po siya. Sir, good AM. Paano po kapag may NC2 na sa other area, gaya ng housekeeping? Pwede pa po ba mag-take ng TM? Actually, wala pong TM-NC1. Yun po siya. Ang trainers, pag po kayo ay may NC, at para po maging qualified TVET trainer kayo, hindi po sapat na may NC lang kayo. Mag-take po kayo ng trainer's methodology. Pass the assessment for trainer's methodology and then applied for the National TVET Trainer Certificate po. So that's the rule po. That's the mandatory rule. Hindi po kayo, please, wag po kayo magtuturo na may NC lang kayo. Because kung ituturo nyo lang po ay yung natutunan nyo o yung na-experience nyo during the assessment, hindi po yun holistic. Hindi po yun holistic. Kasi po pag nag-TM po kayo, you will be exposed on how to develop your own competency-based learning materials. You will know how to interpret competency-based curriculum and the training regulations po. Makakapag-develop po kayo. So, pag nag-TM po kayo, madami po kayong matututunan. Yun po siya. Okay. Kaya nga po yung mga teachers na nasa DepEd ngayon na nag-undergo ng TM, hindi nila problema pag di-develop ng modules. Kasi na pinagdaanan nila yan. Part po kasi ng requirements o part po kasi ng pinag-aaralan sa trainer's methodology ang paggawa, of course, ng instructional materials. Hi to my friend Mon Pangilinan from SPI. Maraming pong salamat, Intelligente. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this particular pre-webinar series is being brought to you by the Intelligente Publishing Incorporated, educating minds, shaping the future. Siguro po si Sir Bench po, sasabihin ko na lang kung saan nila makukuha yung kanilang copies. Okay. Si Sir Paul Gabay may question. Hello po, Sir. Sir Jason, do we have an edge as senior high school in opening exit assessment of our senior high school student? You know po, pag po kayo ay nag-o-offer ng senior high school at meron po kayong TBL program o sabi non-TBL programs na sa palagay nyo ay dapat nyo ipa-assess, advantage po ng senior high school yon na pinapa-assess nila estudyante nila. Although sa test na po kasi, all students taking, di ba, test na qualifications, mandatory po ang assessment yan. Kasi po putol ang inyong training kung hindi po kayo mag-assessment, hindi kayo masa-certify. So kung isang eskwelahan, I'll give an example like Dominican High School and Our Lady of the Sacred Heart College of Gimba, kung po siya, ang mga estudyante nila, nagpapa-exit assessment sila. Kasi ginawa nilang ano yan ginawa nila, specialization nila yung in-apply sa DepEd. So example like bookkeeping, cookery, and bread and pastry. Added qualification yan sa estudyante. Diba? Pag sila ay gumraduate ng senior high school na meron silang national certificate. Bakit? Kasi ang aim naman talaga natin sa TVL, automatic kung hindi man mag-push ng college yan, makapag-apply ng trabaho yan in an industry. At yan, NC na yan, tinatanggap yan. Yun siya. At take note po, bago nga po pala kayo magpa-work immersion, mas maganda po, mag-undergo na ng exit assessment prior to work immersion para i-attach po ng inyong mga estudyante na meron silang skills, meron silang knowledge, yung particular na ano na yan, na qualification. Example po, sa mga TBL, mag-work immersion sa mga restaurants, yun siya, makikita ng restaurant, ay, may NC ito. Advantage po ng estudyante mo. Very good question po, advantage po yan. Kung ang senior high school, lalong-lalo na po yung mga qualification, cookery, bread and pastry, welding, agriculture, lahat po yan, bookkeeping, pa-assess nyo po ang estudyante nyo. Yun po siya. Malaking bagay po yan. Actually, sa mga HEI po, specifically for tourism and hospitality sector, karamihan, actually majority po of schools right now, pinapa-assess nila ang kailang mga estudyante. Best example po will be the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology, Wesleyan University, yan po. Bulacan State University po, marami po sila. Marami na po ako mga estudyante na a-assess dyan. Yun po siya. Thank you very much po, Ma'am Vilma Lavisores. Great help to po for deaf personnel. Meron pong question po, I enroll in TESDA training online. May duration po ba? Wala naman pong duration. Depende po sa pacing niyo po, Ma'am Rovelina. Yun po siya. Yun po siya. Yun po. So I think po, wala na po tayong iba pang mga tanong. At kung po kayo ay may mga personal na tanong, I will be providing po my email. And if you need some resources po, you can just email me po with your concerns and I'll personally email you back as soon as possible po. So, by learning po, you will teach. By teaching, we will all learn po. Maraming salamat po. Ito po si Professor Jason D. Cabatuando at yan po ang aking email. Maraming pong salamat sa inyong lahat at mabuhay po tayo. Thank you very much for listening po. Sir Bench?